night Show Up for Your Life motivational live stream where you show up each and every single week. And so listen, this is who this message is for. If you have ever been at a place in your life where you have had some kind of a past disappointment, a past failure, a past hurt, and you know deep in your heart that it's been very difficult for you to let go of it, and it's been keeping you from moving forward. It's keeping you from realizing your full potential. It's keeping you from having a happy, fulfilling, prosperous relationship. It's keeping you from taking significant chances and going after your goals and your dreams. It has been keeping you from starting the business. It's been keeping for you from actually going back and trying to get that other degree. It's been keeping you from asking for the raise and the promotion. Listen, whatever you have dealt with in the past that you seem to be carrying with you as extra weight. And I believe that all of us have something that we're carrying with us from the past. We've got some extra weight, some extra luggage. And so what I want to do today is I want to help you to go ahead and let yourself go free. In other words, I want to help you to be able to release yourself from some of that old luggage. And so the message tonight is entitled, Let It Go. Oh, you hear me? Listen, let it go. But Andy, you don't understand what he did to me. Let it go. But Andy, you don't understand how my business partner betrayed me. Let it go. But Andy, you don't understand. I trusted this financial planner and they misallocated my funds. Let it go. Listen, but Andy, you don't understand. I lent them the money. They told me that they were going to pay me back. Let it go. But Andy, you don't understand. They let me go from the job. I was dedicated. I worked so hard. I was putting in all the hours. Listen, let it go. No, Andy, you don't understand. You don't understand. I bent over backwards for this person. What do you mean, let it go? Listen, you need to let it go. And I'm telling you right now, I know that is one of the most difficult things to do, is to let go, especially if somebody has done you wrong, especially if you still feel as if, many of us, sometimes we believe that if we let it go, if we decide that we're going to forgive somebody, if we decide that we're going to go ahead and just sort of move on with our life, then what it means is that we pretty much have accepted and we're condoning what that person did to us or what that situation was. And oftentimes when you let it go, when you decide to let it go, it doesn't mean that you are saying that, you know what that person did to you was okay, or what that company did to you was okay. A lot of times when you decide to let it go, it's not really about them, it's about you. Because here's what I need you to understand. A lot of times when you're holding on to that grudge, when you're holding on to that resentment, what you're doing is you are keeping yourself from pushing forward. You're keeping yourself from that happy relationship. You're keeping yourself from actually building and growing the business. You're keeping yourself from that next level in your life. You're keeping yourself from getting to that place in your life where you can really be able to have great contentment and happiness. And so I need you to understand, because it's not an easy concept for people to understand, that when you decide to let go, when you decide that, you know what, I'm no longer going to hold on to this resentment. I'm no longer going to hold on to what they did to me. I'm no longer going to buy into that storyline. I'm just going to simply let go. Understand this, that when you do that, the person who comes out on top is you. Why? Because you're setting yourself free. You're allowing yourself to ultimately be able to get to the next level. And so I know some of you are already ahead of me, but do me a favor right now, before I go ahead and share this story with you, I want you right now, put hashtag let it go, hashtag let it go, because I want to speak specifically to that person who is ready to make the very, very, very difficult decision of deciding to letting go, whether that means forgiving somebody who has hurt you, letting go to an old story that you're holding on to that's keeping you from moving forward in your life, letting go to that draining, toxic relationship. And I'm not talking about your marriage, because you need to fight for that. I'm talking about those negative relationships, those people that are around you that don't pour into your vision, that don't pour into your dream, that are keeping you from making great things happen in your business, that want to talk more about your problems than they want to do about your purpose. And so that's something that we're going to be talking about. Why is it that so many of us spend more time talking about our problems than we do with our purpose? I'm going to say that one more time. Why is it that so many of us spend so much more time talking talking about our problems than we do our actual purpose. And so what I need you to understand is this, that this is the time right now that you need to start letting it go. So let's go ahead and do this. Do me a quick favor. Just go ahead and do the hashtag let it go, hashtag let it go, hashtag let it go, hashtag let it go. And so I'm going to be honest with you. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share a personal story with you. I try to refrain from sharing this story, but I realize that if I share this story, that it's going to help some of you to experience a breakthrough. And so if I've got to go ahead and share something personal myself, that because by me sharing it, it's going to ultimately help you, then I'm willing to do that. And so the only thing I do ask that you do is understand I am sharing my personal business here, right? But what I want you to do is I don't want you to judge the story, but rather I want you to get the lesson from it. Because I believe if you get the lesson, that it's going to go ahead and help you to get to that next level. I believe that if you get the lesson, it's going to help you to literally be able to accomplish a little more of all the things that you want to make happen. And so I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm going to go ahead and share something a little intimate with you. So here's what I realized. So obviously you all know right now, somebody said, Andy, it's okay. You can go ahead and share the story. This is a safe space. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me this space to be able to share this personal story. So all of you know right now, my wife is Coach Cassandra Henriquez, and I'm happily married and so grateful that I have this amazing, extraordinary wife. But before I was with my wife, there was somebody that I was dating, and I had been dating them for 6 years. And so this was a long-term relationship that I was in. And this person that I was dating made the decision that they wanted to actually continue on with their education, and they wanted to pursue an actual law degree. And so this person decided they're going to pursue their law degree. But one of the things that we actually made the decision was that, realizing that she wanted to pursue her law degree, but unfortunately, she didn't necessarily have all the resources. And so she needed to get a student loan. Now, I want you to follow me with this. This is somebody I was in a relationship with, a long-term relationship with, that decided to do something positive by continuing with her education. But there was something that was keeping her from being able to do that, and that thing was lack of resources. And so one of the things is that she needed to be able to pay for her education. She needed to be able to secure and get a loan. Well, unfortunately, she could not secure the loan on herself because unfortunately, her credit was not where it needed to be. And so she asked me, being her boyfriend, if there's any way that I could go ahead and co-sign on that particular loan on her behalf. And so I realized that in many ways in our relationship, there are other times that she asked me to play team, other times that she asked me to do things that I wasn't willing to do it. And so I thought that at a minimum that, you know what, that this should be a great gesture on my behalf, especially considering that there are other times that I probably should have helped out with certain things and I chose not to. And so I said, you know what, this time I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go all in. And so I went ahead and I co-signed on a private student loan. Now, a portion of those private student loans, I was going to use a portion for me in real estate that I was starting to get involved in, and she was going to use the rest of the student loan to be able to pay for her education, her continued education. And so what happened is, as you can only imagine, is that here she is, she makes it through and actually attains her law degree, which is an extraordinary, awesome thing. But around the time that she actually attains her law degree, we decide that we're no longer going to be together. And so we actually separate. And so we decide to go our separate ways. In other words, we broke up, folks. We broke up, all right? There's no way to really sugarcoat it. We broke up. Now, here's what I need you to understand. Once we broke up, I was under the assumption that, you know what, even though we broke up, the right thing to do in her particular case, since I co-signed on a student loan, is to continue and move forward on the agreement that we made, was that she was going to pay off her portion of the student loan. And so this is where it's going to get real ugly, folks. I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit of my business. When we decided to go ahead and break up, she decided, you know what? We're no longer together. And yes, you did co-sign on the student loan, but since we are no longer together, I am no longer going to make the payments on the student loan, because I figure you'll be able to handle it. And so the disposition was, you know what, Andy, you got it. You'll be okay. Go ahead and take care of this. And so I need you to understand what begins to happen to me. I can tell you this story now and be able to smile, but I can tell you when that happened, there was no smiling that was taking place. Let me make you understand something. I was so upset. I was so angry. Every single month when it was time to make a payment on that student loan, my blood began to boil, my neck began to stiffen, I started to clench onto my fist, I would be pacing back and forth, I would be calling this person all kind of names in my head, I would be having all kind of evil thoughts that were going on in my mind. I would sometimes be on the phone with friends and tell them, hey, can you believe what this person has done? And every single month, I would rehearse and literally revisit this experience. And the reason why I was so upset is because I was so blessed and fortunate that when I graduated from college, I essentially graduated with no student loans. I got a full scholarship to Florida State University. I got my undergraduate degree, my master's degree with no student loans. And now here I am. I co-signed on a student loan. Wait a second. I didn't tell you the amount. For $42,000. I'm going to say that one more time. I co-signed on a student loan for $42,000. And now I broke up with somebody. And now I was on the line for the entire student loan. Are you listening to me? And so you can only imagine. I'm telling you right now, trust me on this. There's a reason why I can smile right now. There's a reason why I can laugh about this. Listen, there was no smiling. There was no laughing. This was not a laughing matter. I am telling you that at the time when every single month when I had to make those payments, I'm telling you, I would get so angry and so frustrated about the situation that I can assure you that if you literally pulled some of the blood out of my bloodstream, if you were to pull some of my blood and inject it into an animal, inject into something else, they would probably die because of the amount of toxins that were probably in my blood as a result of me being so angry. And so here's what I want you to understand. What I did, and I'm ashamed to admit this, what I did for over a year was blame that person for that situation. Every single month when it was time for me to make that student loan payment, boy, my blood was boiling. I was so upset. I was so angry. I had all kind of terrible thoughts and so forth every single month. And if you were to listen to me tell you the story, I would tell you, can you believe what she did? Can you believe that I was only trying to help her out? Can you believe that I decided to co-sign on this student loan, that we broke up, and she couldn't even think enough of me or even enough of herself to go ahead and pay this student loan? It is her fault. I cannot believe her. And let me tell you something. Every single time when I continue to play the blame game, every single time that I continue to go ahead and accuse her, every single time that I just talked about the problem, guess what? Nothing changed. And then here's what I want you to understand. Here's what the learning moment is. I finally came to the realization one day and I said, wait a second, Andy, you can do all the blaming that you want. You can go ahead and talk about how she did you wrong, how she had you co-sign on a student loan and she never paid it back. But I said, Andy, as long as you play that position, there's nothing that you can do. Listen, as long as I decided to be the victim in that situation, there was nothing that I could do about it. And then I had to go ahead and look in the mirror, and I had to be honest with myself, and I had to face the situation for what it really was and take all my feelings and emotion out of it. And what I realized was, number one, that I was not forced to co-sign on that student loan. I did it on my free will. Number two, when you co-sign on anything, the reason why they're having you co-sign is because they already deemed that the person who is going to be responsible for the debt is likely not going to repay the debt. So they're asking the co-signer to step in and say, if this person does not sign off on this debt or does not pay off the debt, that you are saying, and you are raising your hand, that I am going to be the one to do it. And so both of those things were the facts. I wasn't forced to do it. And number two, that was literally what I signed up for. You ever heard somebody say, I didn't sign up for that? Well, guess what? In that particular situation, that is what I signed up for. And so finally, I came to the realization that as long as I kept blaming her, And as long as the situation was her fault, then that means that there is nothing that I could do about it. And because I was so boiled up with anger, and because I was so angry, all I kept doing was making the minimum payments, because of course I was saying to myself, there is no way that I'm paying off on somebody else's debt. Listen to the mindset. There's no way I'm paying off on somebody else's debt. And so I didn't want to take responsibility for it. I didn't want to take it on because I looked at it as this is not my debt. But here's what I want you to understand. And here's what I want you to realize. Everything changed when I decided, wait a second, Andy, this is your responsibility. Everything changed when I decided to take full ownership of the situation. You see, once I decided to stop blaming her, and once I decided to take full ownership of the situation, now I owned it. So now I have the ability to be able to change it. Understand this, that when you hold on to resentment, when you hold on to the past, when you hold on to something that somebody quote unquote done to you, and you decide to play the victim role, well, what happens is you have relinquished all of your power. You have given your power away. Understand this, that you cannot change your situation. You cannot change your future relationships. You cannot change your finances. You cannot change your health. You cannot change anything unless you first take full ownership of it. Understand, listen carefully. And so nothing changed for me until I made the decision to myself and said, wait a second, Andy, this is your fault. You need to own this. And once I made the decision to own it, all of a sudden now the anger began to go away. All of a sudden now I had clarity of thought, and I started to now come up with a strategy. Okay, well, now since this is your debt and it's no longer you're the victim, how are you going to go ahead and pay this thing off at an accelerated rate? Once I made that change, once I made that transition, once there was a mental shift, all of a sudden everything changed from how I felt physically. And also not only that, but me taking personal responsibility. Listen carefully. All of a sudden now I was on the fast track, and I could tell you right now, as I share that story with you, that debt that I had, guess what the balance is? $0. I paid it off 100%. Now, the only reason why I was able to do that was because I made a shift in my mindset, and I stopped playing the blaming game, and I decided to take full ownership and responsibility. And so here's what I want you to understand, that right now you are seeking a breakthrough in your life. You're hoping to have a breakthrough in your relationships. Maybe you've been looking for that special someone. You've been hoping to find a happy, fulfilling marriage, or you want to make your marriage more happy and fulfilling, whatever it might be. What I want you to understand is, unless you're willing to let go of whatever has happened to you in the past, whatever has happened in those old relationships, you will never be able to have the kind of relationship that you want to have in your life right now. Listen carefully. For some of you who are entrepreneurs, that unless you're willing to let go of what didn't work out in the past, of what failed to work out for you in the past, of who cheated you, of who did you wrong, of what business partner walked away, of who misallocated your funds, or how things didn't work out in the past, until you're willing to release that story, understand this, you will never be able to get to the place that you want to do. I believe that it was T.D. Jakes that I heard say this one time. He said, when you hold on to your history, you do it at the expense of your destiny. I'm going to say that one more time. Remember, T.D. Jakes said this. It was a powerful statement. He said, when you hold on to your history, you do it at the expense of your destiny. Understand this, that many of us, we are forfeiting our destiny because we are living from the place of our history. We are reliving the story. And so what we do is we spend more time talking about our problems than we do about our purpose. And so I need you to flip and change the order. I need you to start spending more time talking about your purpose than you do about your problems. I'm going to say that one more time. I need you to spend more time talking about your purpose than you do about your problems. Understand this, understand this. If you continue to live from the place of what has happened to you in the past, it is going to keep you from moving forward. If you continue to broadcast all of your problems and what he did and what she did and what your past business partner did and how they fired you and how they let you go and how they violated your trust and how they did this, it makes you a victim, and it doesn't allow you to be able to be the victor. It doesn't allow you to make great things happen. So do me a favor right now. I want you to go ahead and put this down. Hashtag purpose over problems. I want you right now to start putting your purpose over your problems. You need your purpose to be stronger than your problems. You hear me? You need to talk more about your purpose than you do about your problems. You need to focus more on your purpose than you do on your problems. Coach Kaz, I need a power cord. You need to focus more on your purpose than you do on your problems. And so too many of us, listen carefully, there are too many of us who are spending day after day after day after day. And here's what we're doing. We keep focusing primarily on our problems. And so what I'm saying to you right now is right now, this is the time to start putting more focus on your purpose, more focus on what you've been called to do than your problems. So wait with me, family. Don't go anywhere, because the power cord is about to go out on this computer, and I cannot have you go anywhere on the message. So give me 1 second. I got to get this power cord. Don't go nowhere. All right, that's what I'm talking about, family. That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. But listen, I know that this is a powerful message because that computer was about to go out on me. But that's what happens when you're about to deliver a kind of message that's going to help somebody to have a serious breakthrough. And so I need you to make the transition right now from going and just focusing on your problems to learning to put more of the focus and the emphasis on your purpose. What is your purpose? And listen to this. Every time you continue to live on in the history, every time you continue to broadcast your problems, every time you continue to broadcast what he did to you, what she did to you, what the past business partner did to you, what the circumstances did to you, every time you do that, you are diminishing your purpose. You are diminishing your destiny. Every single time you do that, you are chipping away, you are postponing, you are delaying the thing that you are called to do. And so I need you right now to create a shift and learn to let go. That was a big, powerful lesson for me. For a long time, I wouldn't even be able to share the story that I share with you because I was still in the story, very much emotionally attached. But now that I've pulled out of the story, I'm going to tell you, I learned a very valuable lesson, and I'm hoping to pass that lesson on to you. Because I know right now that there's so many of you who you are on the verge of having a breakthrough. You are on the verge of finding that significant other person that you've been searching for. You are on the verge of starting that new business. You are on the verge of getting to that next level. You are on the verge of literally doing the thing that you've been called to do. However, what's holding you back is because you're still living off of your backstory of something that has happened to you in the past. And what I'm saying is this is the time to let go. Listen, I want to share this with you. Do me a favor real quick. Do me a favor real quick. Go ahead, hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button, because I want to share something else. I know it's going to create a shift and a change in somebody's life. So do me a favor right now, hit the share button. And when you hit the share button, you can go ahead and do me a favor. When you do hit the share button, put hashtag shared, because I know that there's going to be create a shift and a change in somebody's life. I want to share this story with you because I need you to get this. I want you to get this, and you're going to get this. Listen, I used to have this dog, this German Shepherd, amazing German Shepherd. And I had to leave and I had to go away for a business trip. And I wasn't going to be there for an entire weekend. And so I had to reach out to one of my friends, and I asked her to go ahead and step in for me. I said, listen, I'm going to be away. I need you to do me a favor, and go ahead and make sure that while I'm away and I head out, I'm living in South Florida. I was headed out to the West Coast. I said, while I'm out on the West Coast, do me a favor, go by the house every day and make sure that you actually feed the dog. Make sure the dog has food. Make sure the dog has water. Can you do that for me? And my friend said, absolutely, Andy, I can do that for you. And so I went away on the trip. And so the first day I was away on the trip, I called back. I called my friend. I said, listen, hey, could you do me a quick favor? Could you do me a quick favor? Let me just want to know. I just want to know, how did things go? Did everything work out fine with Jasmine? She said, listen, everything is perfectly fine with Jasmine. I took her for a walk. I gave her some water. Everything is cool. I said, fantastic. 2 more days here at the conference. I'll be back. And then so I checked in on the second day with my friend. They said, listen, Andy, don't worry about it. Don't even bother worrying. Everything's perfectly fine. I took her for a walk. I gave her food. Everything is perfectly fine. And so on the third day, I'm getting ready. I'm going to be headed back the following day. And so I said, let me just check in one more time. So I called my friend up. I'm like, hey, what's going on? How you doing? I said, listen, just checking in. How's everything with Jasmine? And then when I hear my friend's voice, her voice sounds really strange. And so I'm trying to figure out, well, why do you sound like this? What is going up? And she says, well, she said, Andy, listen, she said, I just left the urgent care. I said, what do you mean you left the urgent care? I said, is everything okay? Did Jasmine bite you? Did something happen? She says, no, everything's okay. I said, well, what happened? She said, listen, here's what happened. I went over to your house and I went to go get Jasmine to go walk her like I did every time before. I put her on the leash. I walked her outside. But this time when we walked outside, she saw a squirrel. And literally she stopped dead in her tracks. She started pointing her front paws forward. Her tail shot straight out. And I could tell she was focused in on the squirrel. And so she said, my friend said, I held on to the leash and I started pulling back. But she says, as you know, Jasmine is a pretty big dog. And so at the time, my dog weighed about 80 something pounds. And my friend was a very small, petite young lady, right? She weighed maybe about 115 pounds. So my dog lunged forward. And because the dog lunged forward, my friend fell to the ground. Now, when she fell to the ground, she held on to the leash as hard as she could. My dog kept running. And my dog literally dragged her across the pavement. She twisted her ankle and she got a whole bunch of scabs and scratches from being pulled across the ankle. And literally she had to run on over to the urgent care. And so I'm thinking to myself like, oh my goodness. So I'm telling my friend, listen, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? She says, no, I'm going to be okay. I thought maybe I broke my ankle, but actually it's just, you know, it just really, really bad sprain. It's swollen. I got to ice it and everything. I said, oh my goodness. I said, well, I don't know what your medical bill is going to be, but I can reimburse you. I'm so sorry. I can't believe that happened. She said, no, it's perfectly fine or whatever. And once I was absolutely certain that she was totally okay, once I was totally fine, she was okay, I just had to ask her, you know, the golden question had to come up. And so here's what I asked her. I said, let me ask you a question. When Jasmine decided to lunge forward and when she started to run forward, why didn't you just let go of the leash? Why didn't you just let go? And my friend, there was a moment of silence on the phone. And then she said, Andy, I don't know. And so here's what I want you to understand. There's an old proverb, and here's what it says, that you got to let go or be dragged. I'm going to say that one more time. You got to let go or be dragged. And so here's what I want you to understand. There are many of us, we're holding on to the leash. I don't know what's at the other end of your leash. Whatever it is that you're holding on to, maybe you're holding on to a past bad breakup. Maybe you're holding on to something that your ex-husband and ex-wife did. Maybe you're holding on to something that an old business partner did. Maybe you're holding on to the fact that you got let go from the job. Maybe you're holding on to the fact that something didn't quite work out for you. But here's what I want you to understand, that you have to let go or you will be dragged. And so my friend had no idea why she was still holding on. She said, oh man, Andy, I don't know why I was holding on. She said, I don't know. I just had to hold on. And so here's what I want you to understand. We go around all day long, holding on to things that are pulling us in the opposite direction of our dreams, holding on to things that we know are not serving us, holding on to things that are keeping us from getting to that next level in our life, holding on to things that are keeping us from having great relationships, that are keeping us from having rewarding businesses, that are keeping us to get in the next place in our business, that are keeping us from having extraordinary health, that are keeping us from actually living out our purpose. And what I want you to understand, I want to remind you, is that you've got to let go or be dragged. I want you right now, somebody go ahead and put your hands on the keyboard, do two things. Number one, share the message, hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button. And I thank you for sharing this message. And the other thing is, I want you right now, put hashtag let go. Hashtag let go, because I know that there's somebody right now that is holding on to something and is keeping you from getting to the next level. And so here's what I want you to understand. Somebody said this a long time ago. Listen carefully. When you hold on to a grudge, when you hold on to resentment, somebody said that holding on to a grudge, holding on to resentment is the equivalent of you swallowing poison and hoping that the other person is going to die. The reason why that's a powerful analogy is that when you're holding on to something, the only person that you are creating toxins in, the only person that you are really hurting is yourself. And so when you're holding on to a grudge for too long, guess what's happening? It's literally like you're the one taking the poison and you're expecting the other person to die. And so what I need you to understand is at some point, listen carefully, at some point, you got to say to yourself, wait a second, you know what? I've been holding on to this for way too long. I'm not going to let this control my life. As a matter of fact, it is time for me to take back my power. Understand this, that when you let go, what you're doing oftentimes is you are taking back your power. A lot of times we don't realize we become powerless when we decide that we're going to play the victim role, when we decide that we're going to go ahead and blame somebody else or something else for our current situation. And so at some point, we just got to make the decision, wait a second, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and let this thing go. It is time to release. And some of you think that by holding on to a grudge, by holding on to some resentment, that you are punishing the other person. But understand this, you are only punishing yourself. And so if you want to get revenge, the best revenge is letting go. Write that down. The best revenge is letting go. I'm going to say that one more time. The best revenge is letting go. Listen, let me tell you something. When I got stuck with that student loan, when I co-signed on that student loan, and my ex told me, listen, I'm not paying off that student loan. That's your student loan now, Andy. Let me tell you something. The best revenge was when I decided to let go and I moved on with my life. And not only that, but eventually I am pretty sure she got the notice when it said that the loan was paid off in full. So she had to be looking like, you know what? Obviously, he must be doing okay because he paid off that entire student loan. Oh, yes, I did pay the entire student loan off. It is zero. You hear me? Zero. But that only happened because I was willing to let go. And so, listen, the best revenge is letting go. And so, listen, you want to get even with somebody? You want to get even? Let go. Say bye-bye. Let go. Move on with your life. Make something happen with your life. Stop holding on to the resentment. Stop holding on to the bitterness. Stop holding on to the anger as if you are getting even with somebody. And understand this, that the best revenge, that's right, the best revenge is letting go, letting go. And so if you're ready to let some things go right now, if you're ready to take your life to the next level, if you are seriously serious about elevating your game, and this is every aspect of your life. We're talking about elevating your relationship. We're talking about elevating your business. We're talking about elevating your health. Understand this, that you cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rewriting and rereading the previous chapters in your life. You cannot advance like that. There are too many of us that we're wondering why we can't take our businesses to the next level. We're wondering why we can't take our relationships to the next level. We're wondering why we can't get to the next level, but we don't realize that we are still living in our backstory. Most of our dialogue, most of our energy is around what happened to us in the past. Listen, stop talking about what he or she did to you. Get over it. Let it go. It's time to release. Andy, that's harsh. I understand, but I need you to get this because it's the only way that you're going to get to that next level. You want revenge? Let go. You want to get to the next level? Let go. Right now, do me a favor, put hashtag release. Hashtag release. If you're ready to release right now, you are ready to release the things that are holding you back. You're ready to release the backstories in your life. If you are ready to release every and anything that is literally holding you back, I want you right now to put hashtag release. Hashtag release. Hashtag release. It is time to release all those things that are literally holding you back. So yes, Julia, release. Yes, Betty, release. Yes, Roz, release. Yes, Lakeisha, release. Yes, Jeraine, release. Yes, Rosie, release. Yes, Christy, release. Yes, Stephanie, release. Yes, Elizabeth, release. I'm telling you, yes, Joyce, release. Oh my goodness, you guys are tuning in like crazy. Yes, Lee, release, release. Hashtag release. Yes, Vanetta, release. Violet, release. Elizabeth, release. Yes, Butterfly, release. I love it. Hashtag release, 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 release. If you are ready to get to that next level, you got to go ahead and do this right now. Do it for yourself. Hashtag release, because I want you to understand this, that this is your time right now to get to the next level. But you cannot get to the next level if you are carrying all of this heavy luggage with you. And so it is time right now for you to simply let it go. That's all I'm asking you to do. I know it's not as easy as it sounds. Trust me on this. That story I shared with you about the student loan, it took me a year and a half, maybe even longer, to be able to fully be able to release and let that thing go. But I'm telling you, once I was willing to let go, everything shifted. When you let go, you are not doing it for anybody else. You are doing it for yourself. You are doing it so that you can take your life to the next level. You are doing it so that you can move on with your life. Listen, my wife is a matchmaker. She is a relationship coach. She is a love coach. And I hear her a lot of times when she's talking to her clients. And one of the biggest things that is keeping her clients from having happy, fulfilling relationships is because they are still living in the story of a past relationship. They're still living in the story of something that's happened to them before. And what I'm saying to you is, if you are ready to get to that next level, it is time to let go. It is time to let go. So I want you to do a couple of things right now, because here's what I want you to think about. I want you to just be honest with yourself. And I want you at some point to put some time to just look at yourself in the mirror and spend some one-on-one time with yourself. And I want you to be honest with yourself and say, where is there any place in my life that I'm holding on to some resentment, some pain, past disappointments, a past backstory, and it's no longer serving me? And wherever that's showing up in your life, I want you to have the courage. I want you to have the boldness to go ahead and let go. Not let go because you're releasing somebody of the responsibility of what they did, not because you believe what they did was right, but because you are ready to go to the next level, because it is necessary for you to be able to get to that next level. Remember what I told you. You literally need to learn to let go, or you need to be dragged. And too many of us are holding on to something that is pulling us in the opposite direction of our goals and our dreams. And so you got to be willing to let go or be dragged. And so I'm telling you again, you need to let go, let go, let go, let go, let go. That is the one thing. It's not the easiest thing, but that is the one thing that I want you to take away from this marriage, from this marriage, from this message, that you need to let go. It is time to let go of this old story that's been keeping you back. And it is time for you to step into this amazing, extraordinary next chapter of your life. I know some great things are going to happen for you. And I don't believe that it's any kind of coincidence why you are listening in on this message. So do me a quick favor, and then I want to tell you how we can stay connected. There's two things I want to share with you before we leave. So do me a quick favor. Number one, go ahead and hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button. I know most of you have gone ahead and already shared it, but if you're tuning in right now and you haven't shared, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and hit the share button and share this message. The other thing is, I just want to let you know, you can join. We have an online community, and I'm going to be very intentional about making sure that I do some private messages only in that community. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we do some great things in there. I haven't been promoting it, but I really want to. I want you to join our private Facebook group. It is called Show Up for Your Life. So all you've got to do, as you know, this is the Show Up for Your Life motivational movement. Show Up for Your Life is my tagline. I actually have it trademarked in the personal development space. Show Up for Your Life. The name of my book is Show Up for Your Life. And so I want you to join the Show Up for Your Life community. And all you have to do is in your Facebook browser, type in Show Up for Your Life, and you can literally make your way over to the private group. And when you get to the private group, just send us a request to join the group, and we'll be more than happy to do that. You can open up a separate web browser and type in Show Up Group, showupgroup.com, and that'll be a shortcut. Or you can just go onto Facebook, type in Show Up for Your Life, and find the private group and send us a request to join the group. Now, here's the other thing that I want to give you. As many of you know, one of the things that I work on specifically, I am a storytelling coach, a business storytelling coach. I help people who are either entrepreneurs, speakers, coaches, who want to elevate their brand, who want to be able to have greater impact, who want to be able to attract more of their high quality, high paying customers and clients to be able to leverage their story in every different aspect of their business. And so I did a training the other day where I shared the #1 strategy to get your audience to be able to connect with your story. And I want to give you access to that training. And so here's what you got to do. It's very, very simple. I want to give you instant access to the replay. All you have to do is head on over to showupforyourlifetv.com, or you can take the shortcut, which is SUFYLTV.com. Go to SUFYLTV.com. This is my gift to you. This is a powerful training that is going to show you how to take your story and position it in a way so that you can get people to connect with your story, so that you can have greater connection, which ultimately is going to allow you to have greater influence, which also is going to allow you to be able to produce better results. And so once again, you can go to showupforyourlifetv.com, or you can simply go to SUFYLTV.com. They're both going to take you to the same place. Fill out the information, and once you do that, you're going to get instant access to the replay. And so once again, you can join our Show Up for Your Life Facebook community by going to Show Up for Your Life. Just go ahead and find that on Facebook. Send us a request to join the group, and you can get access to my training, the #1 strategy to get your audience to connect with your story, by going to showupforyourlifetv.com or SUFYLTV.com. And so listen, this is what I opened up with, and this is what I told you. Listen, I'm hoping that by the time you're done processing what I shared in this message, that if you weigh whatever, you knew what you weighed before you heard this message, and you weigh yourself again, I'm hoping that you would have shed a couple of pounds. And the reason why I'm hoping you're going to shed some pounds is because some of the weight that you've been carrying on your back, some of the weight that you've been carrying through your backstory, some of the weight that you've been carrying in your life, I want you to let it go. Do you hear me? I want you to let it go. And the reason why I want you to let it go is because I need you to understand this, that your time is the most valuable thing that you have. And I need you to understand this. You need to stop spending time talking more about your problems than you are about your purpose. Remember what I told you. You want to spend more time talking about your purpose than you are about your problems. Here's what I find. There are too many people who have the order in reverse. They're spending more time talking about their problems than they are about their purpose. Reverse the order. Spend more time talking about your purpose. Spend more time talking about your dreams. Spend more time talking about your vision than talking about your problems, talking about your past, talking about your history. Listen, we don't want to hear about your history anymore. We want to hear about what's next in your life. What are you going to make happen? Remember, I told you, purpose over problems, purpose over problems. And then remember what I tell you, when you choose to let go, what you are doing is you are taking your power back. You see, when you play the victim role, when you blame your past circumstances, when you blame the ex-husband, when you blame the ex-wife, when you blame everybody else, you are the victim. If you are the victim, it means you are powerless. It means you can't do anything about it. But when you decide to let go, when you decide to take full ownership, you take your power back. I want you to take your power back. And some of you have been trying to go ahead and pay somebody back by holding on to the resentment and reminding them of all the things they did to you. And what I want to remind you is that the best revenge is letting go. Just let go. Stop trying to punish people by revisiting and reminding them of all the things that they did. They know what they did. They got to deal with that themselves. But if you want to move on with your life, you need to go ahead and let it go. Just release it. Cut the umbilical cord. The best revenge is letting go. And so remember what I tell you. I'm going to tell you again, let it go. So we're going to go ahead and sign out. I want to give a shout out. I see you, Belinda. I want to give a shout out. But here's what I want you to do. As we sign off, I want you to do two things as we sign off. Hopefully, you've already went and you wrote down the information so you can get access to that training. I'll show you real quick. One more time, you get access to the free training, the replay, by going to showupforyourlifetv.com or SUFYLTV.com, right? You want to join the Facebook group. You're going to type in Show Up for Your Life in Facebook. But here's what we're going to do as we sign off right now. As we sign off, let's do this. Two things I want you to do. If you haven't already done so, I know the majority of you always play team, and I appreciate you for that. And I want you right now, I think last week we had like 2,000 views. And so this only happens because all of you are hitting the share button. So do me a favor, if you got some value from this message and you haven't already done so, go ahead and hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button, do that. And then the other thing is, Belinda said, I need to get your book. Belinda, the book is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com. All you have to do is put in Show Up For Your Life, or you can go to ShowUpForYourLifeBook.com. It doesn't matter. Go to Amazon.com, BarnesandNobles.com, or ShowUpForYourLifeBook.com. You can order the book there. The title of the book is Show Up For Your Life. But listen, before we send off and before we go, do me a favor right now. Everybody, this is how we go sign off. We go do hashtag let it go. Hashtag let it go. And so listen, whatever it is, but listen, here's what I want you to realize. When you do that hashtag let it go, I want you to let something go. There's something that you are going to let go, something that's been holding on to. I don't know if it's a grudge, past resentment, something that happened last week, something that happened last year, something that happened a decade ago. Somebody who broke your heart, maybe perhaps a business that didn't work out, a bad investment, maybe you co-signed on a loan too, maybe you had something go wrong. I don't know what that thing is for you. What we're going to learn to do is stop playing the blaming game. We're going to stop blaming other people for our lives. We're going to start blaming other people for our circumstances, and we're going to take full ownership, and we're going to just simply let it go. And so do me a favor right now as we sign off, go ahead and put hashtag let it go. Hashtag let it go. Hashtag let it go. That is how we are going to sign off before we go ahead and close this thing out. So do me a quick favor, do the hashtag let it go so I can give you all a shout out before we leave. Listen, you know, I get on these messages. I say I'm going to get on here for 30 minutes, but you guys show me so much love. I end up staying here. We're going on almost an hour. So here's what we're going to do real quick. Vanetta, I see you. Hashtag let it go. You guys put the hashtag let it go so we could go ahead and sign this thing off. And I could go ahead and say goodbye to everybody. And you can find us same time, same place. Yes, Carlene, I see you. Hashtag let it go. Listen, Vanetta said let it go. Carlene said let it go. Keep them coming, because we're just going to let people, we're putting it on notice. We're going to put people on notice. We're going to put our past on notice. We're going to put the history on notice that we are officially letting things go. And so one more time, hashtag let it go. Hashtag let it go. Hey, listen, family, I just want to thank all of you. So yes, Sheila, hashtag let it go, let it go. And listen, I just want to thank every single one of you for showing up each and every week. You can find me same time, same place. Go ahead and set your calendar. Just put it on your calendar. Andy Henriquez will be doing a Facebook Live every Thursday, 8 o'clock p.m. That thing is happening. It's going down. You are receiving a powerful message. The only time that I skip these messages is if for some reason I'm away and I have a speaking engagement. But even when I'm away, I still find a way to produce this message from the hotel room or whatever it might be. So you can count on there being a message delivered to you every Thursday, unless I'm on an airplane or unless I just cannot physically be able to get someplace. And somebody said, okay, bye, Felicia. Yes, yes, I love it. So hashtag let it go. We're saying goodbye to some people, and that's it. So listen, everybody, thank you so very much. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. Do me one more quick favor. Make sure you share the message if you haven't already done so. And do this even after we sign off. Go ahead and put the hashtag let it go. Hashtag let it go. Thank you so much, family. I appreciate you. God bless you. Have a good night. Yes, sir. That's it, Lewis.